We're Robin and Steve. In the last episode, we left off in Opua, in suboptimal weather. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for a weather window to sail to Tonga. It's given us more time to fix things. Like here, Steve is fixing our wind generator. Here's a good visual representation of the rotating magnetic field due to the permanent magnets fitted to the rotor. After hiding from the worst of the winds, we fought our way back into Opua, where we were met with a tsunami warning.
Crews of vessels in harbours and estuaries must consider either immediate return ashore or move to deeper water. Part 3. Unusually strong and hazardous currents and unpredictable surges are expected near the shore.
Thank goodness the tsunami warnings were soon cancelled and we could head to the Kailashi Island group. We stopped at Mahinipua Bay and walked to the peninsula. And figured we'd better test our dinghy before we headed to Tonga. The engine started and it didn't sink. At Motu Kawanui Island we met our friends, who gave us a heap of limes before playing in the wind. It was the perfect bay for them, no one to crash into. They're pretty clever with the kite and the foil, and were generous enough to show us how it all works. I should really introduce you. These are our friends Sarah and Campbell of Genki, who are also from Tasmania. The next morning, Sarah and I wanted to walk up the island. So Steve and Campbell took the boats to the north side of this island to meet us. On our walk, we came across this dilapidated old house before winding up and over hills through rainforest to the other side, where we could see the boats anchored. Time for a snorkel. Sandwiches Ras, one of my favourites. There's an eel down there. And a ray. And a few beautiful seaweed forests where there weren't sea urchins. Steve had seen an eel down there, but when I looked up, I got a bit of a surprise. After nearly headbutting me, this shark then went to headbutt Steve, who had to nudge it off with his spear gun. No one was harmed. We'd had a good time exploring the north bit of the North Island of Aotearoa, and we were ready to move on. It was time to hit the big blue watery road and leave these brown waters behind. To be fair, Opua's waters are usually aqua. I made masses of stews and cakes. And then our Genki friends took us on one last road trip. The recent weather's been good for waterfalls. This weather window isn't a relaxing one. We had to leave in nasty weather in order to beat some nasty weather. We were officially checked out of New Zealand. We had to enter our route in the chart plotter and check it for obstacles, pack up the dinghy and get the boat ready for sea. And as the sun went down, we set off, heading northeast in strong winds. Our first night at sea was terrible. This is the next morning, with winds less than 37 knots now, but the sea is still rolling. During the night, a combination of a strong gust and a big wave meant that one of the blocks on our preventer, well, it quit. And it didn't even give us any notice. This was the last big ship we'd see for the whole journey. I'd like to take this opportunity to give thanks to our wind vane. We can just set this at an angle to the wind and it continues our boat onwards. Meaning that in general the boat steers itself and we can do our own thing, just adjusting it from time to time. By day 3 the conditions were much more pleasant. Which is lucky because sleep deprivation really kicks in by then. As you can see, we haven't reached the tropics yet, and night watches are still cold. Early on in the trip, our friends in Genki overtook us, as did many other boats. But we were still going a respectable speed for a boat of our make. So far, all of our ocean crossings have been pretty rough, so this was the first time I'd taken out a reef at sea. And it wasn't too hard. We were out of New Zealand waters. This poor flag has been through 2 cyclones. It was time to put it away. With the winds directly behind us, we decided to try poling out our genoa. Our boat sails pretty efficiently with this setup. By now we're over halfway to Minerva Reef, which is about 800 nautical miles from Opua, and we hope to get there in time to beat the fierce winds that were on their way. I filmed some big moments in our trip, like this, our last tomatoes, in a delicious bruschetta. This must have been a calm day. After a conservative stretch in silks, I could do ballet bar. My bum does get sore from all the sitting. These are our last potatoes, another poignant moment. Here's what we do most of the time: sit or recline. At last we unsocked the spinnaker, but not for long. Winds keep changing. This amazing fish flew from danger only to die on our boat. Winds started picking up again. It was time to reef again, and soon the winds turned against us. We carried on close-hauled. If I get fed up with sitting, I try becoming a human plank. The last Fajoa, that was a sad moment. For now, it was calm enough to do laundry. Yeah, we're pretty boring a lot of the time. This is the last of our bread. Apart from just sitting, whoever's on watch has to be ready to furl a sail in or let a sail out. If nothing else is going on, morning push-ups can add a bit of excitement. Sort of. This isn't exactly climbing a mountain, but hopefully better than nothing. When close-hauled, we do tip over quite a bit. Here I'm demonstrating the close-haul galley lunge, and why I should wipe the lens after it's been in sea spray. Ah, that's clearer. In his close-haul galley lunge, Steve prepares lunch on our gimbaled stove. Take extra care with hot liquids. We were getting close to Minerva Reef, but because we were tacking, we knew that we could not reach North Minerva in daylight. With 40-knot winds on the way, we pressed on. Steve and I do 3-hour watches, and this is the view from my sleeping nook during one of my daytime off shifts. We had good information about the entryway into the reef. With the seas rising, and with this information we decided to enter at night, which turned out to be quite straightforward, and we woke to this city of boats in the middle of the ocean. It took us 6 days to get here, just in time to shelter from a big low pressure system. On this day, we could recover and go swimming in tropical waters. Our friends from Genki had beaten us here. Here they're coming to greet us. As you can imagine, we were super keen to puff up our kayak and explore these unusual reefs.
Are you ready, or do you want me to paddle for you?
Amongst the coral there were pieces of wrecked ships, which isn't that surprising really. It was good to see this little shark. Sharks are a sign of a healthy reef. That's our friend Sarah zooming by.
Okay.
Big cheesy smile.
At low tide we could actually walk on the reef. It didn't seem like the delicate sort of reef that would be wrecked by this. I hope I'm right. Even at high tide, this thick reef softened the waves enough for this to be a great shelter. Not that we needed that right now. At low tide inside the lagoon, the swells are blocked altogether, which meant that I could do rope. Next time we get hit by 40-knot winds and a tsunami. It was a little wave where we were, and then we carry on to Tonga, where going through customs involves the anchoring off a beautiful island and waiting.
Now do I press record? Yep.